teens and adults. I want to wish you a good afternoon. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the things that you need to know to really prepare you to get out into the road. These are things that I've seen consistently over the last year and a half. The steering wheel is round. You need to learn how to properly turn the steering wheel. We all know there's an airbag in the middle. It's been an airbag in the middle of the steering wheel over 10 years. At the end of the day, you need to learn how to use your left hand and your right hand to turn the steering wheel. Think of it as a round object. Steering wheels are round. None of us are driving the Tesla Plaid that has a yoke. Elon, what are you thinking? The steering wheel is round. Your left hand needs to stay on the left side. Your right hand needs to stay on the right side. Why am I saying this to you? Because I've seen over the last 6 months, 8 months, a year, people, adults and teens, and adults I'm referring to 18 to 46 years old, who do not know how to turn the steering wheel. I'm going to give you a tip. You're going to make your job harder for me as an instructor, harder for yourself. You're going to have more frustration because you're not understanding concepts of properly turning the wheel. AAA, which is a national organization, says 7 and 5, your hands are lower on the steering wheel, is probably the best way to turn the steering wheel. It depends on your arm length. I'm over 6'4". I have very long arms. We need to be about 10 inches to 12 inches from the steering wheel. Why? There's an airbag in the middle of the steering wheel, and upon impact, this bag will inflate at over 200 miles an hour. Now, I'm not stupid and I'm not dumb. I'm not saying you should or should not cross your hands, because the National Highway Safety Transportation says that 9 and 3 or 10 and 2 are still the best ways to turn in right turns, where you're making a 90-degree right turn. Pretend we come up to a stop. I ask you to look left. I ask you to look right. I ask you to look left. If you drop your left hand down to the bottom of the wheel, you're going to overturn. You're going to make a really wide turn, hitting traffic in the left lane, causing an accident. You're going to hit that gas like beginner drivers do because they're not properly educated. Your left hand needs to be on the left side of the wheel. Your right hand needs to be on the right side of the wheel. In some cases, you will have to turn hand over hand. Going around curves, we're just guiding our hands on the wheel, turning at a slight angle. If your instructor is not teaching you how to properly turn, you're going to struggle in lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. Right around lesson 3, you should understand, you should know how to turn the steering wheel. Here's other information to help you. A lot of beginning drivers do light, traffic light driving. You don't go on busy roads. You're primarily driving straight from your home to school. I'm doing good. How you doing? What is up? Hopefully you're doing good too, E. Doing great. I appreciate the love. It's really important that you learn the proper concept. Thank you so much, E. Really appreciate you. You got to learn the proper concept of turning. You always should turn in the nearest lane. Why do you think on your road test, if you go out of your lane or encroach or go in another lane, it's automatic failure? Think about that. Why do you think when you're making a left turn, it's a 90-degree turn? Turn in the nearest lane. The nearest lane is by the double yellow. Every time we drive, there's always a risk. I'm at an intersection right now, parked. There are cars coming in and out. I see cars cutting across the double yellow line. Thank you. And someone in this gas station is going to get hit. Hopefully it's not me. But what I'm saying is there are things happening all the time. We're in the United States and all around the world. We're celebrating Memorial Day. There are some people who won't return home because they're under the influence, they're driving really fast, they're tired. Okay? We want to take a moment to pray for them. For a lot of you who are beginning drivers, you're going to be leaving the state, driving to Chicago, driving to Ohio, driving to Texas. And that's how you learn how to drive. You should be able to hear those motorcycles. Some people don't wear helmets. Driving is a risk. Those of you who are learning how to drive in unfortunate situations, it is so true because you want to make sure you're physically able to drive, you're emotionally able to drive, and you're rested. The worst thing is to learn how to drive and you got to drive for 6 hours or 10 hours. I've been there before. It sucks. Every half an hour is a struggle. You're straining, you're tired, you're trying to stay awake. And as a result, you're not going fast enough or you're going too slow. Next, beginning drivers there's a car getting ready to back into me right now. People aren't looking. They aren't paying attention. And if you really want to learn, park your vehicle, look at an intersection. There's a lot of traffic from the left, a lot of traffic from the right. People don't use blinkers. They're cutting across any gap they can to avoid construction. That is dangerous and illegal because if you cut through a gas station or a store, it's called avoiding the light, and that's a ticket. Let's talk about what your coach should do. Your coach should be patient with you, right? It is common sense, but a lot of people don't have common sense. They think, I'm okay. And that's when you hit a pedestrian. That's when you get a ticket unnecessarily. That's when you smash your only car, and then your parents are like, we can't help you. You got grandma's car. I'm getting ready to retire. I guess you better get a job. It takes money for insurance, gasoline, and beginners do not do really good at routine maintenance. Check your oil. Rotate your tires. Know how to change a flat tire. It's really important that your coach is patient with you and supports you when you're learning how to drive. Learning how to drive in your neighborhood is different than learning how to drive in your community. Driving on roundabouts, you need to yield to traffic already in the roundabout. If your driver's ed instructor or coach didn't take you to roundabouts, you're going to be caught off guard. If your coach did not do a lot of expressway driving, merging off with trucks, then you are going to struggle. People can and do make you sick. I was at a construction fork and the left lane was ending. I saw 15 cars speed. It's called a zipper merge. So you can decide if you want to wait to the end to merge in because some people won't let you in or some people will let you in. I think a lot of people are not patient. Many of you who are looking at this are saying, I just want to get my license. And I'm not mad at you, but it takes time because if you learn wrong habits, speeding, not wearing your seatbelt, driving when you're tired, driving when you're angry, you're going to end up smashing your car because the age group that has the most accidents is that 15 to about 25. Why do you think your insurance is the highest? After about 25, boom, you get common sense. Just like E said, you get common sense. Then your insurance rates drop down. You're out of college, probably getting married, got your corporate job. Maybe you dropped your money on a condo. Maybe you got your first house. There are a lot of opportunities, but driving is a important function. It's not promised. Driving is a privilege, not a right. It can be taken away. Your rights can be taken away, and I need all of you to understand that your rights can be taken away. Your coach needs to talk to you early. Hey, I need you to make a right turn at the second light. Hey, I need you to get over to the left lane as soon as possible. We need to get into the left turn lane. Your parents should not be arguing with you in the car. I told you to go faster. Leave him alone. He's okay. If it was me, I would drive with one parent. Whoever's in the front seat is your co-pilot. If it's your mom and you feel good with mom, drive with mom. Sorry, Dad. Dad, if your son or daughter really is comfortable with you, drive with them. Take them to the auto parts store. Show them how to check the oil. Get them a basic emergency kit, jumper cables, basic hand tools, fix-a-flat, a tow rope, because one day your car will go into a ditch. You need to be able to get the car towed out. It's not free. It costs $150. Ask me how I know. The car went into the ditch. Had to pay for that. I think it's important that you learn how to make a proper left turn. A lot of beginners are very hesitant, very nervous. You got to go up to the center of the intersection, 3/4 of the way in. You wait, you yield to oncoming traffic. Left turns are very difficult for beginning drivers because it's very nerve-wracking to turn in front of oncoming traffic. Merging on the expressway is very difficult because you drive too slow. If you see me looking around, I'm parked at a gas station. I'm at a main road and I see cars cutting in, cutting out. I'm trying to be out of the way, but I don't want to get hit. And I'm looking. And speaking of looking, when you're driving, you need to analyze your driving environment. What do I mean? If you're in downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Detroit, Michigan, downtown Cleveland, Ohio, downtown Atlanta, Georgia, what is the flow of the traffic? Are people driving fast? Are pedestrians cutting across before the light? Are people cutting in to a restaurant, a gas station, a party store? If they are, you're vulnerable to getting hit. Are there pedestrians walking across, pushing a basket, riding a bike? Pedestrians get hit all the time. In fact, on the way here, a bike rider was riding against the traffic. That is wrong and illegal. He almost got struck, right? Yes, we almost got struck. And I got to the middle lane right with the flow of the traffic. If you're a bike rider and you're riding today, you have a responsibility to have a helmet to ride with the flow of the traffic. There's still pedestrians and a lot of foot traffic. Parking lots are very dangerous in downtown areas. You've got to be that defensive driver and look for people between cars. Neighborhoods are very dangerous too because you have little kids and they don't understand the dangers of a car. You being a driver, 15, 22, 27, 35, 42. Slow down in neighborhoods. Everyone has a camera. Everyone has a Ring doorbell. People are watching you and then they will say, I saw that guy or that girl doing 40 in our neighborhood. Then they struck and killed a child. Do you really want that blood on your hands? I know I don't. And I know I teach patience and kindness. And it's really important that you're patient and kind because that in the end helps adults and teens learn how to drive. People have frustration. People have anxiety. Thank you, Ken. Means a lot. You owe it to yourself to teach your younger brother or sister how to be a good driver. Those of you who know me, I've been on the platform about 3 years. Driving is my passion, not anything else. Teaching people how to drive, you have to put them in your heart. You can't drive selfish because if you do, you're going to kill someone. You're going to hit someone. You're going to hit a car. Turn on social media, you see someone who's lost their mind, drifting, driving on the curb, under the influence. We as a community need to respect and cherish driving. And I understand There needs to be some type of national test to help people understand that driving is a privilege, not a right. And you need to meet those health standards. You need to be knowledgeable. So I like to see a test every 5 years, every 7 years, every 10 years for people who are over a certain age, because I'm not against people who are driving, right? At night is a whole new animal. And if you want to see fear, drive a beginning driver at night. They're driving off the road. Your mom, your dad needs to coach you. I'm an instructor. We might have 2 lessons at night, maybe 3. Mom and dad, if you're listening, take your time with your son or daughter. Night driving is a whole new different animal. And I have clients say, I don't think I can see real good. I have an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. When is the last time you had your eyes checked? I was in 4th grade. Stop, bro. You are all over the road. So there have been a couple of examples I've had to terminate driving because the client is all over the road. You need to get glasses. As a state certified instructor, thank you, E. As a state certified instructor, every 2 years, I had to go through a medical examination. Well, some of you are saying, well, woohoo, great, we don't care. I want to be in my best condition. And if I'm not physically and medically able to drive, I want to know that, because I don't want to put a client in danger. I don't want to put myself in danger. It's really important that you get yourself examined so when you come in to renew your test, you pass your eye examination. A lot of people, not you who are listening, a lot of people who are that 24 to 27 to 34 don't want to drive. And I understand that, but you're putting a burden on your mom, a burden on your family members, because you have to work. You can't live at your mom or dad's house your whole life. I had a client, their 37-year-old brother is still living at home. I'm not judging, I'm listening. Driving gives you an opportunity to save your money, get a job, show emotional responsibility. And that's what your parents want to see. If they see you working hard, saving money, getting good grades, we're going to help you. We're going to help you get a car. We know you want to move out. We've been saving our money as a down payment. Wow, mom and dad, I didn't know that. You got to show your elders that you want to work hard. And it takes a lot of time and personal responsibility. I have a lot of clients who are 25, who are 30, who are 40, who want to learn how to drive, but they're not willing to put in the time. If you're taking the time to listen to this, you care about driving. You care about social development, emotional development. Because once you start your car, we're getting close to the line. Close to the line is death. If you speed through your neighborhood, you're getting closer to the line. If you're cutting across a main road to a gas station, you're putting yourself closer to the line because you're going to hit a car. If you're not putting on your seatbelt when you're driving, you're getting closer to the line. And I'm not judging, I'm simply telling you what I see. We do get tired of waiting for people. There are certain groups of people who want to learn how to drive, but they can't afford driver's ed. Maybe there's a reading problem. Maybe they're not committed to the process. It takes a commitment. Some people, it's a struggle to get up every day. I'm not going to be down on people who have depression, and it's real. Over my career, the last 3 to 5 years, we have a lot of people with social anxiety. We have a lot of people, anxiety disorder. Because of COVID, they just don't want to interact with the public. So online driver's education has become very popular. And I think those of you who've been looking at my content, I always talk about going to work, being successful, becoming independent. Driving does not make you an adult. I want to make that clear. Driving is one tool that will get you toward that maturity. Owning a house. Yes, owning a house. Paying a bill. taking care of your pet. Those small things show the adults in the family, your elders, oh, Junior's ready. Stephanie is ready. Driving gives you opportunities because maybe mom and dad are sick. You got to get them to the hospital, right? Driving will lead to opportunities because a lot of jobs are in the metro area. Some are in the suburbs. They're smaller companies. Accountability, 100%. Because if you have a younger brother or sister, those of you who take care of your younger brother or sister, you got to make sure your younger brother or sister is up in the morning. Get them dressed. Brush their teeth. Get them out to the bus. Then you got to get yourself ready. And thank you for saying that, E. And that is so true. I have accountability to you to make sure I'm encouraging you to get your license, to drive. And if you have a question, you could ask me. And if I don't know, I'll find out. And speaking of the difficulties, hand positioning. Hand positioning is really important. You've got to turn the wheel. Left turns, parallel parking, merging on expressway. And for some beginners, keeping it in the lane. And everyone has had a different struggle. I had struggles. Highway driving was my struggle. Lane positioning was my struggle. And you have to realize we all need improvements. No one is A1. And if they are, they're lying to you, okay? Because you've seen my content, cars cut off, run lights, tailgate. You got to think of that defensive mindset. And always a refresher course. Do you realize, thank you, E, do you realize how important it is that you stay current with the newest rules and laws in your state at the federal level? It's so important. And some driver's ed companies are falling off because they use information 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old. You always have to update. And just like everything else in life, 100%. Example, I had a 2070 video card. Those of you who are gamers, give me a thumbs up. I finally had the time and the money to update to a 4070 Ti. Good. Better frame rates. But because I'm doing social media and all this, I really not have had time to really push that card. But I will. And technology changes every second. It's hard to keep up with it because we all get in our routine, going to school, going to the job, coming home, seeing your mom, seeing your dad, sisters and brothers, doing your homework. And then you kind of get in your little bubble. You need to get out more. A lot of people don't want to go out in public. They don't want to walk around. They think people are bad. People aren't bad. You got to learn to interact and make choices. You see me looking around, there's a person coming to my right, and it's eye movement. You got to be able to make those eye movements and scan and look around because public, yeah, you got to interact with the public. And it's not always nice because I've been through very difficult challenges with the public. You got to keep your head on a swivel, real talk. I need you on my team, right? You really do. Because things are changing so rapidly around us that it's really easy to fall behind, okay? And you always want to make sure that you're providing the best information for your drivers, for the organization. You want to bring value. I want to bring value to all of you and to help you understand that driving is always evolving. We have a lot of electric cars. And what does this do with driver's ed? We will have self-driving cars in driver's ed. You still need to learn how to drive. Elon Musk said there will still be a lot of deaths before the technology is truly there. And there's still people who put it on autopilot and forget about it. Are you kidding? The sensor could have dirt, could have debris. And you always need to learn. Technology is quickly evolving. And I've had a chance to drive a couple of Teslas. Tesla's been around over 12 years, but yet the general public is not adapting. What's the difference between being behind the wheel and a simulator? Like right now, I'm behind the wheel. I'm going to try to switch screens. Okay, hold on. Okay, take a look at this. This is real life right here. Cars are stopping, tailgating, not paying attention, right? You'll see cars cut in this driveway. On a simulator, you can control what happens. You can control some of the variables. I want to see a balance of both. We do have flying cars. There was a guy who made one, but it's not adaptable to the general public. The next 50 to, if it's really popular, that technology will come down to the general public. Look, the average price, I think most people can pay is $30,000 to $50,000 for a car, right? What is that going to get you? That's going to get you a nice pickup truck, a nice mid-sized car, a Mustang, a Charger, a Challenger, right? A mom or dad car, right? But you got to have a job. And some of these cars aren't selling right now. So we're talking about the simulator versus real life. This is behind the wheel. And I'm going to look here to this angle. This is behind the wheel. You're going to have people who are going to run the light. In a simulator, you can put in every 30 seconds, a car's going to run a light. I want to see what you're going to do. Here, it's totally unpredictable. You got a pedestrian walking across. What if a car doesn't see the pedestrian? What if the pedestrian slips and falls? We have cars who are used to coming by that double yellow line, but they're not used to the construction because a lot of people drive the same route. You need to learn to take more than one route home because your brain, look at these cars making this left turn right now. If you're in the outside lane, you need to turn to the lane to the curb. If you're in the inside lane, you need to go to the lane by the double yellow. I've always preached this. Look at these cars. They're making left turns. If you're in the inside lane, you stay in the inside lane. If you're in the outside lane making your left turn, you stay in the outside lane. There are variables. What if it starts raining? What if your car has a flat tire? What if your brakes fail? It's hard to put in those simulations, but yet I do want to create one, and I do want to build one and start a channel, right? And this will be sim driving or sim racing with Myles. You got motorcycles now. What if the motorcycle person slips and falls? What do? You should be 4 cars away from them. What if you have an elderly driver who has a medical emergency? They have a heart attack. They have a stroke. So this is real life. That load that person's carrying in that black truck, what if the back door opens up and that stuff runs out? Those people on that scooter, what if they hit a rock? So I think the best thing, you see these people making right turns. What if they cut in and no blinker? There's a lot of what ifs, right? There's a lot of what ifs. But this is real life driving. And a lot of you see what your mom and dad is doing, but you don't see the dangers. Everywhere we go, there's danger. In your neighborhood, cars, kids. Thank you, wildlife. What if a deer runs out? And if you swerve, look at these cars. See the white Camaro? See the gray car? That's the double left turn. What if the person cuts in the wrong lane? What if they lose control and veer into this gas pump and we all blow up? You feel me? So there's so many different variables that you have to prepare for. But you learn this through driving. You don't learn this through a book. So I'd like to see an update of more real life situations. I think there needs to be a national conversation with driving instructors, with parents. There's a car that made an illegal U-turn to benefit all new drivers. because a lot of the drivers here curriculum is old and it needs to be updated to benefit the next generation drivers who will be driving. What if you're driving your electrical vehicle and there's a fire? Okay, where is the automatic cutoff? I have a race car. I have a Gen 1 Camaro. We have an emergency cutoff switch if the car crashes into a wall or flips over. If the car flips over, the fuel cell will not leak out. There's a chance of a fire. In an electric car, you need to be taught what to do. You have to learn how to drive before you can learn to drive with no hands. You think about that. And driving with no hands is still dangerous. Would I drive in downtown Houston, Texas like that? No. Downtown Detroit like that? No. Downtown Los Angeles, California? No. Because those areas are too populated. And the affordability, and I'm just on Tesla right now. Elon, I'm not hating on you. That Tesla has been out 12 years. But there are automotive manufacturers who don't want to work on it. Are you kidding? Because they're not sure. And that battery is still underneath the car in between the frame. And if you hit a pothole just right, or a ditch, you could pierce that steel or aluminum membrane, and then you're in trouble. I was watching Rich Rides, and the insurance industry totaled out a car, and it had light front-end damage. The battery can be faulty. Yes, it can. And you got $12,000, $15,000. Most people are on a budget to get an electric vehicle. I watched Tesla, Wham Bam, Tesla Cam, love the show. And I think a lot of people take for granted the self-driving part, but you got to be a defensive driver. And this new technology is coming. And hopefully when, I decide to do lessons and open up this business, should I get a hybrid? Should I get an electric car? Because I'm driving anywhere from 175 to 300 miles a day. That's a lot of mileage. And probably about $50 a day in the summer with gas. It's a lot of money. So if I can charge up the car or get a hybrid, that makes sense. So there are a lot of opportunities out there if you're properly. I'm a tree hugger. I love the environment. I love performance too now, don't get me wrong, right? And I'm still holding on to my Gen 1 Camaro, but it's got to be parked right now. The trailer's outside the garage. I got to open the garage door, put the car on the trailer. But you still have to know how to drive. I want to show you something. You see this older car right now. Talk about safety. You see all these cars. Some people use blinkers. Some people do not. There's a pedestrian walking. When you're driving, you need to be looking left, middle, and right. Right? It does take an investment. You got to invest in yourself. If I want to be better, I got to train. Who are the experts? Who's the expert? Who would I need to see? They're going to sit me down. I'm going to write down everything they say. I'm going to learn everything. That Honda is probably the best car, safest car out there. Okay? What if your windows are tinted? You can't see as well. What if you got a really dark tint? You can't see at night really well. What if you're from Florida or Texas? There's so many different variables out here. What if you're on your phone when you're pumping gas? You could have a static electricity fire. They don't talk about that. If we go over to the gas pump right now, it will say that. Look at this. Look at them cutting in. Kind of dangerous. Always look around. You should not leave your Jeep running or your car running. People do that. And then they get their car stolen. Then they want to cry. You got to shut your vehicle off. Make sure it's in park. Put your key in your head. Don't be vulnerable. We show clients how to get gas. Instructors do not show them how to get gas, how to get petrol. How do you jump your battery? What do you need to do? And it's a slow process. You've got to educate. So things have to be updated. What if that traffic light over there malfunctions? That traffic light, what do? You treat it as a four-way stop. See those cars? If you're in the outside lane, stay in the outside lane. If you're in the inside lane, stay in the inside lane. They don't teach the required skills. You'll see the UK, India versus the United States, but we all need to come together. We all need to do that podcast, have that social media show to help everyone, because we're all teaching. When you're driving, you need to be looking all the time. Hand signals too. 100% hand signals. 100% hand signals. What right turn, straight out, left turn. There's so many different variables, and I can tell you learning. Guys, I just want to give you some good information. Subscribe, watch the videos. I'll go live later. Bye.